Today I'm going to be ranking West Ham's summer transfer window. West Ham have made a few signings this summer and it's now time to rank them to see whether they're going to perform or underperform. Started off the summer making a few signings. We made Jean-Claire Todibo a permanent transfer from Nice, paying 35 million. He did show glimpses last season that he has the quality, however I do still think given how he started this season he's not quite showed that on the pitch. I remember last season he was very good for a short period of time, however he only played 45 to 60 minutes in those games. So fairly untested, but definitely has potential to be, to be a good player. He has the strength, the physicality. So Jean-Claire Todibo, I'm giving him a C for ranking because neither good nor bad so far. Next signing was El Hadji Malik Diouf, who I think is a real hit so far. We bought him for 19 million from Slava Prague. Wonder if Soufal had any influence, or Souček had any influence in the transfer. So far he's been unreal. He's got 2 assists already to his name in the Premier League, one to Paquetá and one to Callum Wilson, an unbelievable cross. His crossing ability seems to be unreal and he definitely looks like he's going to be a good player. El Hadji Malik Diouf is going to get an A rating. I think he's exactly what we needed given Emerson's gone out and Scarlett is still obviously developing, and I really think he's going to perform for us. The next transfer was Kyle Walker-Peters from Southampton, obviously on a free, and having a right back is a very good backup for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and I do actually think this season in the Premier League Kyle Walker-Peters has outperformed Wan-Bissaka. In the long run I don't think he'll take his place, but so far he's doing very well and he brings a different sort of direct energy, so I'm going to give him a B. Next is Callum Wilson, which we bought from Newcastle on a free, and there was a lot of uproar considering his age and his injury proneness. So far he's scored a goal, and times have been subbed on this season he's shown a clear hunger of wanting to score goals. Füllkrug has not worked out in the Premier yet, which is very sad to see because he had a good pre-season and I thought he was going to start off well, but obviously the club as a whole didn't really start off well. But hopefully, maybe coming off the bench, if Wilson starts the next game, he can get an impact. But anyway, Callum Wilson, so far so good. It's just waiting to see whether he's injury prone or not. I'm going to go with a C. He has scored, which surprised me, but a bit more of like a Danny Ings, in my opinion. Then we signed a goalkeeper, Mads Hermansen from Leicester for 18 million. First 2 games, it looked rocky. He conceded 8 goals in 2 games, and especially in that first game, there were a few goals where he thought he definitely could have done better than what he did. However, he did keep a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest. He is young, and Alphonse Areola is very mistake prone, especially playing out from the back. So we'll give him a D so far, purely because of his league performances, but I do think he has potential to be a C or a B. Then just before the Nottingham Forest game, West Ham bought Matheus Fernandes, also from Southampton, for a whopping £42 million, including add-ons. And I think that is a very good purchase. I know the money is a lot, but he definitely did change the game against Nottingham Forest. You could tell our midfield was different. He brought energy, he brought directness, and I think he's going to be a very good signing. I'm going to go for a B just because of the heavy price tag. Otherwise he probably would have been an A, and he has only played 1 game. But I am hopeful him, Paquetá and a few other players definitely can link up in the midfield. Speaking of the midfield, the next one we bought was Sungatu Magasa for 17 million from Monaco. Now, I have not seen a lot of Magasa personally, however I've watched a few highlight reels. And once again, a young, dynamic midfielder who I definitely think can change the game. Imagine him, Paquetá and Fernandes in the midfield. I think that is definitely something worth looking at. And he has not played a game yet, so I cannot go anything else with the C. I do think he's going to be good, but untested in the Premier League. Fernandes has played in the Prem before, so a C for that. Then, of course, on deadline day, we had loads of small rumours. For 1 second, it looked like we were going to get Charlie Creswell from Toulouse, who I actually would have rated quite a lot if we got him. Then it turned out to maybe be Disasi on loan, but in the end, we hijacked Crystal Palace's loan offer for Igor Julio. I'm not very sure about this transfer. I mean, it is a loan, so it's sort of no harm, no foul. However, from what I've seen him previously in the Prem, I don't know, and obviously at Fiorentina, I don't know if he's got what it takes to start in our team. It's good for backup now that Aguerd has left. Will he make it in our team? Will he even get to start? Because there are 3 players ahead of him, in my opinion. I'm going to give it a D purely because I much rather would have had Charlie Creswell or Disasi, but those were all of the signings we made. Now it's time to figure out who were the players that we sold. Now the biggest one, of course, was Mohamed Kudus, who we sold to Tottenham for £55 million. I would say this is a very good business from West Ham. He had a very good first season with us. He played really well, was very electric. However, in the second season, there was a clear drop-off, especially in goals and assists. He did bring something to the team. However, he clearly did not change the game. So getting 55 to 60 million for him, I think, is really good business. And I think Tottenham played well in their first game, but I think in the long term, they're going to see his faults. But he's still a good player. And I'm going to give that a B. Very good business from West Ham. 55 million is a lot of money. Next, we loaned out Edson Alvarez to Fenerbahce with an obligation to buy, I believe. His first game, I watched the highlights, he did not look very good at all. Alvarez is someone who, I'd say he's a fan favourite. He always gave his all every single performance. However, was he one of the best players? No, and I think I sometimes very struggled with his style of play. So all in all, obligation to buy, I'd say it's a C. Not too bad. We just need to get people out the door. Now, obviously, there were a few players we let go at the end of their contract, so last season. Those players being Creswell, Vladimir Coufal, Michail Antonio, Fabianski, and Danny Ings. They've all left on a free. They've gone to their respective clubs. I think one's gone to Sheffield United, one's gone to Stoke. So I wouldn't really rate them per se because we've obviously let go of their contracts, but I think it's a big mistake letting go of that many leaders in Fabianski, Danny Ings, and definitely Antonio. I think getting rid of that many original starter players who obviously been there since Moyes, I think that's going to turn out to be a mistake. But we'll see how the season unveils, but I think that could come back to bite them. Then, of course, we've loaned out youth players such as Sean Moore, Patrick Kelly, Lewis Orford, and it's whether to see whether they're going to work out or not. None of them were really, getting into the first team anyway. Obviously, Potts and Scholes are the current ones who are there fighting for a space. And then in the last few days as well, we managed to get rid of Emerson Palmieri for, I think it was not even 1 million to Marseille, which is understandable his age. He's been a very good servant for us and unbelievable performances, especially in getting to that Conference League final. Very good Patriot, but good to get rid of some dead weight. So yeah, a B for that. Maxwell Cornet went to Genoa on loan, and I believe he was there last season as well. Once again, he was never going to start for us. I don't even know if he was on the bench in any of the games. I think he played one pre-season game, so very understandable, and it's a shame he hasn't worked out since he came to Burnley. He had one or two good performances in the 2022-23 campaign, but yeah, unfortunately didn't work out. Then we sold Nayef Aguerd to Marseille for about 20 million. I think this is a good business. However, obviously did throw his toys out the pram, refused to travel up the squad to Forest supposedly, but 20 million is quite good. He was all right for us when he played, but he's never really tore the world apart. But yeah, I'd say that's a C. I think the way it went down could have been better. That has been all for the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to check out some of the other videos on the channel, then make sure to click here or watch a playlist. And yeah, let me know if you want to see any more West Ham style content in the future, or maybe some content now with the international break coming up. And otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.